Welcome back to the Headspace and Tasting Podcast, where we talk manhood, tell stories, and discuss the stuff that matters to us one sip at a time. Kevin, welcome to the new studio.
Hi, Matt.
Finally had a fall day today, a little morning at least.
Mm-hmm. 44
this morning.
Yep.
And it got up to 75 in the afternoon.
Heater on in the morning, windows down
There you go.
by lunchtime.
Wonderful. You just had a good 4-day weekend. Want to talk about? You were busy though, right?
Yeah, I got nothing to talk about.
That seems to happen from time to time. You know, what's that saying? The greatest plans of mice and men, or something like that.
Time stops for no one.
Yeah, time and tide waits for no man.
That's our quote for today.
Yeah, we were busy too. Moving, closings, sold the house, moved into this house. Emma's birthday party. She had her second birthday.
How was that?
It was fun. The family had my brother and sister-in-law came in from Iowa, and just hung out over at Mom and Dad's house. Had some sloppy joes. Watched the Blues game. It's cool.
Did we win?
We did. Beat the Dallas Stars. It was nice. Yeah, that's pretty much it for updates.
Yeah, we went to a pumpkin patch yesterday. It was nice.
I guess we got to do that. That's coming up in the future.
Well, see, the big thing with the pumpkin patch for us, or at least for me, is Rachel, our firstborn, was born October 7th.
Oh.
And the birth announcement that we sent out to everyone is a picture of her laying on a pumpkin. And which we took when she was 2 days old. I think she was 2 days old. We slapped her on a pumpkin in a pumpkin patch and took a picture. And then, so every year, I make sure to take a picture of her with pumpkins in some form or fashion. And so I had to, go to the pumpkin patch, make sure I got a picture of her out in the field as we went looking for the great pumpkin.
Nice.
Didn't see him.
Didn't catch him this year, huh?
No.
Maybe next year. Do any geocaching while you were out there?
No, we didn't. There's nothing out there where we were. But there's one right at the end of the street at my house. Didn't realize it. But it's for premium, and I'm not going to pay premium. So we went down there and looked for it anyway, and we found it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
You can't mark it off that you found it, though.
Right, I can't do anything with it.
Yeah. Oh, well, at least you found it, though. That's cool.
Yeah.
Did you sign the book and all that, or sign the log?
It was wet.
Oh.
It was soaking wet. You couldn't
That
sign
sucks.
it. One of the things that kind of it's kind of like a poignant little deal about the pumpkin patch. Anytime I can get out to a pumpkin patch, but it's the real one where you go pick your own. You're out there in a couple acres or more of a pumpkin field. There is something about walking amongst the pumpkins and the vines, and it's quiet, and it's the closest thing to me is to be in nature in a suburban area.
Yeah.
And very peaceful. I just enjoy. I did it twice yesterday. Walked around in that pumpkin patch. All the kids ask me, "Why are you going back up there?" I just want to walk around some more.
Yeah. Yeah, fall is great. I think it's my favorite time of year, favorite season. Just because things tend to get quieter. Everything's a little bit, damp leaves and whatnot. I just like it, man. You can wear a hoodie. Sometimes you can wear shorts and a hoodie.
Yeah. Fall is great. Winter sucks.
I like winter too. I like being cold like that. I like being inside when it's cold. I should say that. And I like doing stuff in the snow and then going inside.
Well, there is speculation as of today that the first week in November will probably or most likely be our first winter chill.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Fine by me.
Not looking forward to it. Good thing we got some bourbon.
Yeah. Fire pits.
Keep us warm. I did the fire pit twice this weekend.
Nice. That's good.
Yeah.
It was a little warm.
Not at night.
No, that's not.
It cools down real quick.
Yeah. I got to get one. I put in, they had like a auction, silent auction at the Schnucks by my old house. There was a Solo stove from Schlafly. It was painted green, had the Schlafly logo on it. And I put a bid in on it, but I didn't hear anything, so I'm guessing I didn't win.
Mm-hmm.
Should have put more money on it. I cheaped out. I went like $5 over the.
Or just go to Costco and spend $150.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was at. Like, I'm getting to the point where I could just buy one, so I didn't bid too
Even
high.
the so-called survivalist gear at Costco is a better deal than going it through the survival stores and things.
Costco's awesome.
Yeah.
So you brought the bourbon for today,
I did.
and it's a special one. We're kind of on a Maker's Mark kick, I guess. 2 weeks in a row, 2 Maker's Marks in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And there's many out there, many different types. Last week we did the cask strength, which was 112.6 proof. And this week you brought a private select, but not only is it a private select, whose initials are on the back of that?
Oh, those would be my initials on the tag.
So this is something that you had a hand in.
Yep. Back in 2019, I was fortunate enough to participate in a barrel finishing process with the Rack House in Cottleville. And there was a team of us that went down for it. We're down there a couple of days. We spent a full day at Maker's Mark itself, the distillery. Last week, talked a little bit about it. When I was down there, the first thing they did was give us a tour. And while we were there doing the tour, in walks this older gentleman. And it turned out it was Bill Samuels Jr. And Bill Samuels Jr. is the man who made Maker's Mark what it is today.
Mm-hmm.
And he just happened to be there and walked in on us, asked us who we were, what we were doing, and that was about it until he asked the fateful question of, where are you from? And we went, St. Louis, Missouri. And he went, Missouri? I can't stand people from Missouri. And we're going, oh, great. Good way to start the distillery tour.
Right.
But he opened up and kind of laughed. He said the reason why is his family, his lineage is the James gang, the James family,
Mm-hmm.
and William Quantrill, all in the same family lineage. And while we were talking, he suddenly said, do you want to get a tour? I'll tell you my family history. And the man who was our escort, our guide for the day, no plans whatsoever. He had no idea. He goes, well, Bill Samuel says go, let's go.
Yeah.
So we all went across the way outside the still, and there's this little shack, and he whips out his little skeleton key. He's the only one who's got the key, opens up the door, we go in, and it is his private little spot that has all his family history in it. Stuff's mounted on all the walls. He's got a revolver that belonged to Jesse James, or Frank James, I think, hanging on the wall. There's one picture of this little kid with an older woman,
Mm-hmm.
like a grandmother type. It's him with his great-grandmother standing there. And his great-grandmother is, associated directly with Jesse and Frank James.
Yeah. That's amazing.
And so he tells his family history. He tells all about it, how they emigrated out of Pennsylvania during or after the Whiskey Rebellion,
Mm-hmm.
and which we talked about, and came into Kentucky and been there ever since.
Yeah.
So he even had one of the original pot stills that he showed off
That's great.
in there. Anyway, so we did the tour and got pictures with them. That was a great experience. That's a one-off. You're never going to get that. Never going to plan it.
Mm-hmm.
And we work our way through the distillery, get into the tasting room. Anybody who's been down there and taken a tour of the distillery, there's one area where you go near or part of the Rick House on one end, and big glass panels where you can see in, and it's the tasting room.
Mm-hmm.
And we're on the other side. And that was one of the few moments where I said, I'm in here and you're out there.
Felt special, huh?
And great setup. we had these little poker chips that represented the flavor staves
Mm.
that we talked about before.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, this one, the Private Select, is made up of the following staves: Baked American Pure number 2. There's 4 of them. 3 Seared French Cuvée, 7 Makers 46, and 2 Roasted French Mocha.
Yeah. So that was seared, baked, different ways of charring the wood, right?
Yes, yes.
And I think we mentioned in the last show that Maker's Mark, all of their different blends they use all the same mash bill.
Correct.
And it's just the staves that they use. 46 was French oak, the staves. And so there's some of those in this.
Mm-hmm.
And the process, you were tasting, did you taste individual bourbons? Like this is Maker's Mark 46, and this has the American oak, and this?
We did. So you got an idea of what it was you're messing around with.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have almost like you know how you get the flight board and you put, 4 or 5 different whiskeys in front of you?
Mm-hmm.
It's similar. It's a flight board, but that's where you put your poker chips.
Okay.
On how you want to set up the flavor. So as a group, we're deciding what we want to do. And as you put the chips out, then that combination goes over to what I would call the lab. And that's where the wives, because they weren't drinking,
Mm-hmm.
they went over and they matched what we put out into a large...
You can remember? Graduated cylinder.
Yes, thank you. It's been so long. So they put it all in there, and then they take that and put it in a container, and they bring it over to us, and then they pour it, and then we taste it, and then we make our notes, and we discuss it, and say, okay, well, what if we did this? And you change out a couple of the chips until you get to the one you want, and that's kind of worked. And I mentioned, was it 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you're using 10 different combinations of working it all out. When we finally got to what we wanted, this is what we did. And you get to that point, then you move over to where they barrel everything, and they put all the staves on a ring, put it inside the barrel, seal the barrel, flip it on its side, and then they fill it up with their bourbon. And then it's tapped off. We signed off on it. All of us got to sign it, the barrel head, and at that point it just sits on in a rack, I believe for 4 months to age, or to finish, not age, but finish. And then there was actually a delay getting it back up to St. Louis, to the rack house, because when it came out after 4 months, the proof on it was 108.9 when they bottled it. Well, 108.9 at that time was not, Maker's Mark did not have a license to bring that proof into the state of Missouri. So they had to rework the licensing with the governing bodies in order to make it happen. So that 4 months became 6 months before it finally showed up. And, at the time, if you were able to get one, I believe it was 2019. So I believe it was $65 for it. Today, I'll tell you, it's priceless.
Yeah.
It's a one-off. We found out later. So Maker's Mark, anybody who goes down there and does a Private Select, they actually bottle it and put it on a shelf in the tasting room. And it's a little like 375 milliliter bottle.
Okay.
That they put in there. And we did find out through the logs later that there was only, out of the thousands they have in there, there's only one other person or entity that ever matched what we did.
Wow.
So we weren't actually original, but we're pretty freaking close to it.
Yeah.
On it. So that's what we have today. And I don't know anybody else that owns any bottles at the moment, because once the barrel was emptied out and the bottle sold, that was it. There are no more.
Right.
The one we're drinking is one of my final 3 bottles, so I still have 2 bottles left. And I save them for special occasions. One of them is this podcast.
I really appreciate it, man, because that's quite a process. And, for them to go through the licensing just to get it here to Missouri, that's pretty incredible, too. But now, Maker's Mark has, we tasted the cask strength. It's 112 proof, and they have others. The cask strength, it is what it is when it comes out of the barrel. So there's different proofs.
Yeah, I think on their cask strength, I think the highest has been 114, 115.
Okay. All right. And this right away tastes much different than the cask strength because that's just their regular mash straight out of the barrel.
Yes.
No staves, I'm guessing.
Right.
Just a white American white oak.
Mm-hmm.
This right away is, to me, has way different notes on the nose and the taste. Caramel. Let me look back. The caramel was the same as last week, but now it's caramel with some chocolate. To me, it's like a little sweeter somehow.
Okay.
When I tasted it, it's very chocolatey to me, mixed with dark fruits and a little bit sweeter. And knowing you and the type of bourbons you like them, finished in rum cask or, some sort of, you like them a little bit sweeter. And this fits what I would think of the bourbon you would mix. The guys you were all with, you kind of had the same taste as far as, I mean, I guess so.
No.
You guys agreed on this, but
No, it wasn't about our personal taste. The idea was to put together a bourbon that represented the vibe of the Rack House at that time, back in 2019.
So
you had the cigar lounge,
mm-hmm.
the bourbons, their fine dining,
Mm-hmm.
and how do you get the vibe of the place to fit into a bottle?
Yeah.
And that's kind of, the nose for me was exactly the same as if I was doing the cask strength. For me, it was still the toffee, the woodsy notes, pit fruit. That actually didn't change for me. The taste was much different. The taste for me was, again, some oak. I didn't think it was very sweet, and I really don't pick up on the chocolate. However, outside of the oaky feel, I get a bit of coffee and mocha.
Maybe that's kind of,
espresso type mocha, and
I
that's
could
what's
see that.
coming out of the mocha staves, because there's actually French mocha staves that were part of it. It kind of gave me that little bit of coffee feeling too.
This comes up quite a few times when we're talking that my palate isn't very refined because I really eat the same food every week, every day, every week. I eat eggs for breakfast. I have chicken for lunch and some sort of meat for dinner with vegetables. And I don't really branch out too much. But I do drink espresso in the morning, and I put heavy whipping cream in it. So I do immediately. I'm like, oh, okay, like a chocolate covered espresso bean. I think that's what I'm tasting.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. For me, that's kind of how I get on the finish as well.
Yeah.
I mean, taking a sip of it, it really kind of hits me in the face a little bit, and that's kind of where it starts. The heat's right there in the front of the tongue, works its way back. It does sit around a bit after you drink it, which the cask strength didn't do that a lot.
Yeah, maybe it burned off a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
But this isn't harsh. It's a little warm, you would say, but it's definitely not unpleasant.
No, no way.
I get it. My whole tongue, I can feel, it just creeps back. And it's very pleasant. And I get it when you say the vibe of the Rack House, because it's kind of like relaxed, high-end atmosphere.
And nowadays it's business casual.
Is that what it's called?
I would call it that on, a weekend evening at dinner time or whatever. I would give it that. There was a time where it was even a little bit more upscale casual.
Oh, okay.
Than it is now. I think COVID ruined that, because after COVID, it was like, we just need business. I couldn't care less if you wore shorts or not.
Shorts
come
and
in.
flip-flops, just come spend some money.
Come in.
So you're obviously biased on this one.
I am biased. I'm going to give it 5 stars.
Yeah.
I gave last week's a strong 4.
Mm-hmm.
So five for this one. And the wheel was a little bit different for me. I mean, it's kind of broad away around.
Yeah, mine's kind of lopsided.
Yeah.
But, you know, for me, it's like first tasting is much different halfway, and it's different at the end. Because I guess it's just breathing, oxidizing a little bit. The aromas come out and change.
Right.
So
Your mouth is getting used to it.
I almost need to wait to do my chart and my tasting notes. But I don't know, man. I just don't know how do those guys just get a Glencairn glass with a little half ounce and they're like whip it around, smell it, taste it, and they're like, oh yeah, and they could just vomit out all sorts of descriptors.
I think it's their livelihood.
I guess. I'm just not that.
I mean, for someone who works at a distillery like Maker's Mark,
Yeah.
Jack Daniel's, something like that, those folks are professionally trained.
Mm-hmm.
They do have to have a certain palate. I mean, they're tested on it. It's very, very scientific.
Mm-hmm.
When we went into their tasting room, like
Yeah.
their little lab, the amount of notes and things that were scattered around in there, and the amount that they taste every day, and the regimen they actually stay on for supplementation and things like that to stay healthy.
Oh yeah.
Because the amount that they do taste every day, it's kind of like tobacco.
Mm-hmm.
If you're out in the field picking tobacco, it gets through your skin. So you develop a nicotine habit just by touching it.
Right.
And it's the same with bourbon. Just because you put it in your mouth and spit it out doesn't mean you're not absorbing
You're still
alcohol.
absorbing. Right. Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't think about that. They probably have like some kind of liver supplements and stuff like that they take.
Mhm.
But also, you got to be careful you don't burn your mouth on some hot coffee in the morning on your way to work, because that could ruin your week.
Yeah, I would assume that they have a very specific regimen.
Yeah.
Kind of like George Costanza in his hands. He's got to wear oven mitts everywhere he goes.
Oh, man. Well, this is a very good bourbon to sit and relax, which is important sometimes. We had a long conversation before the show about I don't want to say ritual of having a drink, but the habit or the using it as a supplement to wind down after work or at the end of the day, have a glass of bourbon and just sit by the fire pit and be quiet, whatever, read a book.
Yeah.
It's real important, man, because there's a lot of stressful stuff that we deal with on a daily basis.
I quit drinking soda 4 years ago. I
Yeah.
was a Mountain Dew addict.
Oof.
And if I was in a high stress environment, I better have a Mountain Dew.
Really?
And it calms me down. And it was the same just being at home. I'm going to be here all evening long. I need to let me go get my soda from Circle K, 44 ouncer, and then once I get home, you guys can go take off or do whatever. And I have my soda.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I quit drinking soda 4 years ago, and kind of in this place is bourbon, but nowhere near to the extreme of what it was for a soda. For me, a
Yeah.
bourbon, I could have one pour of a bourbon in an evening, and that's it. I don't need anything else. It'll last the evening, and it's kind of that one period of time where I have that moment, kind of like you said, you take that deep breath, you got the bourbon, and you're just in the moment,
Mm-hmm.
and going, yeah, you know what, everything's all right.
Yeah. Just be alone in your thoughts. Sometimes that's a good thing to do. I do it early. I get up real early. I'm up at 4 and I look at my phone, and my alarm's set for 4:30. And then sometimes I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get up, or sometimes I don't. But I sit at my dining room table and read the Bible. I'll read the book you gave me, or whatever book I happen to be reading at the time, and I have my coffee and some quiet time. The house is just silent. And it's really nice, man, to just sit in silence sometimes, because, like I said, we deal with a lot of stress as men, and we tend to internalize it a lot. We're not whiners and complainers, and some of us are. I'm not going to say all men are not, but
Right, we'll save that.
dude, if I get the sniffles, if I get sick, I'm dying. Caitlin's super annoyed with me because I'm just like Cameron from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, where he's in bed and like,
Well, you know what?
I'm gonna die.
But there's there's some legitimacy to that, because when I know that when I get sick,
Mhm.
if I am sick, it's because I am sick.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was dealing with something all weekend long, from Thursday to today. I feel much better today,
Yeah.
but I was active all weekend long.
Mhm.
It never knocked me out. But I've had those moments, and
Oh,
if
yeah.
I'm down, I am down for real. I am not faking it.
I'm the same way. I tend to get like these upper respiratory infections from time to time, and man, it's miserable, just absolutely miserable. But I can deal with chronic. I've been living with chronic pain for well over a decade, probably 15 years of just
Oh, easy.
chronic pain,
Same.
and until I actually talked about it with a doctor of like, here's what hurts, and I, he's like, dude, that's not normal to be in that much pain all the time. I was like, oh, yeah, I guess it's not. But those are the kind of things that we just kind of shoulder that weight, whether it's work or big life decisions that we have to make for our family. And obviously we're not making decisions on our own. Our wives are involved, and other people sometimes.
Right. But what's going on with family, health scares?
Yeah.
The list is endless.
Right. It's like my parents are aging. Other family members have issues and you tend to kind of take that on. And we all have different ways of dealing with it. Now, obviously, if you're drinking excessively to deal with it, that could be a problem.
You need help.
If you're lashing out in anger, that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And also, if you're just bottling it up and pretending like nothing's wrong, that's a problem too.
Sure is. Because you're going to explode.
Yeah, you will, or it'll kill you, man. Like that stuff will really affect your physical health.
Right. I mean, that's the thing about stress, is you got to learn how to manage it.
So how do we handle these things in our day-to-day lives, especially when it comes to like with our loved ones and the people in our lives? And I'm talking friends and family and spouses. What are some things you do, Kevin?
Well, I mean, I'll tend to dwell on it a little bit, not by dwelling as I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
but
ponder.
I'll think about it.
Sit and ponder.
Yes.
Mm.
I'll think about it, because there's times where something might be going on, and I'm not going to bring it up just yet, because I'm still trying to iron it out in my head. And once I get there, a certain point, I mean, depending on the level of it, Gail and I will sit down privately and discuss, or just to get feedback between whatever's going on. Other times, stress for me is, I feel like I gotta get it out of me somehow, so doing a fast walk, a hard bike ride, working out, building up a good sweat, getting the heart rate going, chopping wood.
For real. Yeah, that's a good one.
Great one. Or I have a duffel bag at home, an Army duffel bag that's filled with stuff, and I'll just pick that sucker up and slam it on the ground as hard as I can do it. And that's an old CrossFit thing.
Yeah.
I don't even know CrossFit's around anymore.
Oh yeah, they are.
But do a couple things like that. So or I'll write about it. Sometimes I'll just pour out my nastiness.
That's a good healthy
on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
And I've mentioned before that there's one time where I wrote something really, really bad about my relationship with my dad, before it got better. And once I did all that and just put all the filth and anger in it, then I went outside and burned it.
Oh,
and that was kind of my way of saying, yep, I'm done.
Yeah.
And moving on.
Right.
So I mean, there's a million different ways. It really depends on the situation. Some are just much more than others. I mean, I've been on my knees in prayer many times.
Sure.
Even on basic stress, prayer is still important. I mean, that's still number one out of all of it.
Yeah.
But there's no such thing as saying a prayer and then just sitting.
Right.
Like you're waiting for something to happen.
For somebody to answer the phone.
Yeah, then that's going to happen. You still got to do something.
You have to, yeah, right. Yeah, so we've talked about our dynamic before, like our friendship and how we we complement each other. Like me and my wife complement each other, but also me and you. You know, you're more contemplative. You will stew on some stuff for a while, and where I'm like, oh, here's a problem, I'm gonna attack it, and just get it done and do it. I can also be a meticulous planner at the same time. So like, I'm not just gonna jump straight into a fight. I will. Okay, here's a problem. Let me reverse engineer this thing. Come up with a step-by-step plan. Step 1, step 2, and it all leads to the conclusion. But I will work at it doggedly. You know, I tend to. I'll wake up in the middle of the night thinking about it. I'll wake up early in the morning. I can't go to sleep because there's all these things that are on my mind.
That's when I know that I have to take some kind of action.
Yeah.
If I'm dreaming about it or waking up because of it,
Mm-hmm.
I need to do something.
Yeah. And that's not everything. You know, there's some stuff that I just let it slide off my back. You know, like, well, whatever. Doesn't mean anything to me.
Very, very true.
You know, work problems. Something I've really tried to do because I empathize a lot with people. And in my role at work, people talk to me a lot. I talk to every employee every day, pretty much. It's very rare that I don't come in contact with one of our employees. And so I have to kind of run it through a filter of, is this in my playground? Is this something I need to worry about? Or is it something I just need to say, oh man, that's tough. You know, I hope everything goes well. And kind of walk away from it. Just listen and let them know they're heard. And then that's all I can do. Years ago, or maybe not that long ago, I would try to fix the problem. And then I had to stop. Like, hey, hold on, man. This is not my circus. It's not my clowns. I'm crossing the line over into somebody else's territory. Mm-hmm. And if they need my help, they'll ask me. That kind of thing.
Yeah, you know where I see it more often than not for me is when I drive.
Okay.
I just want to drive in a straight line on the highway and not be bothered.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like what we were talking about. You just kind of let things go.
Right.
More often than not, if a car gets in front of me all of a sudden and, I got to tap the brake or I got to end my cruise control because he's driving slower than me and I'm wondering why.
Yeah.
I get mad and, I might throw something out at the driver that just did it and forcing me to change my routine.
Mm-hmm.
But the guy who did it is not even paying attention. He's still singing the song he was listening to.
You don't even exist to him.
Right. He's just driving along, enjoying life. And so suddenly I've got all this stress on me that means nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And to learn how to, for events like that, just go, yeah, that just happened. Big deal.
Yeah.
Adjust, keep going.
Yeah, if I'm driving, I could not care less. I'll just be like, oh, be careful, buddy. Or I'll say, oh, he must have to poop. He's speeding and cutting people off and trying to get out. He's probably about to poop his pants.
It's kind of on the borderline, the outlier of the stoic mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And, I really I've been learning really well to do that. And it's applying to me at work. And it's even at work, it's catching folks off guard.
Yeah.
To where they're going, Kevin, I don't know that you're really engaged. Really? Why would you say that? Well, because, you didn't throw a pen across the room to that noise or that news that you were just told.
Yeah.
I go, well, I mean, it happened. What do you want me to do about it? I can't tell a guy to turn left in his truck when he turned right.
Yeah.
I'm not there. It happened.
Yeah.
So let's just move on and get a root cause and corrective action and keep on going.
Yeah, that's kind of what I am. Like,
because while you're dwelling on that one incident, I've already got 6 other drivers down the road another 100 miles I got to take care of.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, some of the things, so we just had big life change. We put a contract on a house, then found out my wife was pregnant with our second child, and then we went under contract to sell our house, and then we're going back and forth with negotiation. We're talking to underwriters and lenders from 2 different sides, and I lost track of who the heck I was even talking to. I was just signing documents. I don't even know who this is from. Whatever, man. And all of that going back, that's stressful. I guess I've heard moving houses is one of the most stressful things we could go through in life, but Yeah, I've moved so much since I was 18. It's not that big a deal. But you have the new baby. We got a 2-year-old. We had a birthday party we're planning, and we're moving at the same time. And the movers come, and they're saying they can't move certain things. They're not going to take this apart, and they can't move that because the insurance doesn't cover it. And I'm stuck at work, and thank God I have a job where I can just be like, I'll be right back. I got to go take care of something. And I had to come kick some butt at the house, and I took care of it. And then it is what it is. And then, the financial side where we had a bunch of issues with closing costs, and we got to pay this off. We got to do this, and going back and forth with 3 different people again. And it was a communication problem, and somebody made a mistake, and all this other stuff going on. And I just kind of like, all right, is this something I can control? What's going on here? Okay, there are aspects of it that I can control, so I'm going to focus on that. And the things that I can't control, I'm just going to pray about it and let it go. And that's what I did. My wife we would have a plan in place of what to do, and we're kind of like in motion, putting the plan is in motion. And then it was, well, we should do this. And I'm guilty of doing it too sometimes. I would change the plan, and then I'd have to stop. Whoa, hold on. We already talked about this. Everything's planned out. Let's go over the plan again. And we would do that repeatedly. Here's the plan. Let's just stick to it and get it done. Because stopping in the middle and talking about it is just delaying what we need to get done. We prayed together a lot. We talked it out, listening. And big thing for me that I've been practicing for years is listening before I respond. And when Caitlin is saying something, I need to really pay attention to what she's saying and give a pause. When she stops talking, leave a gap there. I don't need to immediately start talking, because I'm not just waiting for her to finish talking so I can respond. I want to actually hear what she has to say. And I started employing that at work too. With people at work, I'm really going to listen to what you have to say, because your words that you're using might not be what you're trying to tell me. There might be something else going on here. So just give a pause and really listen. And then there's sometimes with Caitlin, I'll ask her, like, do you want me to respond to this, or you just need to say it? You just needed to say it. And that's a big thing too, that as I've matured as a man dealing with women, especially my wife, that's very important, because sometimes they just need to vent.
Right.
What else did I have here? Oh, yeah, we don't need to fix everything as men. We're fixers. I think we've talked about this on a show before, with dealing with our wives, interacting with our wives and living together. We need to remember that we don't need to fix everything. Some things is what it is, and we're not going to fix it, and we're just going to be wasting time and energy on trying to fix it. And being patient with the processes, being patient, like there's 24 hours in the day, man. You don't need to get it done right now. You don't need to respond to that email right this second. Just wait a few minutes, think about it. And, that's something I've learned from you, Kevin, is you don't always have to respond. And if you do respond, be thoughtful about it. Don't just shoot from the hip. My words are sharp. My tongue is sharp. I can really hurt people with what I say and how I react to things. My face, kind of betrays what I really feel on the inside a lot of times. My face looks like I'm angry all the time. I try to smile a lot, but it just doesn't come natural to me.
Try to figure out why you're staring at me now.
Looking at you dead in your eyes. Something that I learned is preparation. We talked about this too, man. The 5 Ps.
Mm-hmm.
Prior planning prevents piss poor for poor performance.
Right.
So how do you feel about preparation? How big of a role does preparation play in kind of heading off anxiety and stress at the pass?
Well, it's almost second nature to me. I mean, my entire career is as a logistician.
Mm-hmm.
So, I would say I'm classically trained from the very beginning, was learning, number one, what's your objective, or what's your goal, or, what's your finish line? I mean, what do you want? And then there's something called backwards planning.
Mm-hmm.
So you know where you want to be, and then so you got to plan backwards from to where you're at today or at this moment. And so you're setting up these little stages along the way, kind of like a video game. You know, you got to level up,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you play around, you're battling, you're doing all your stuff, and then suddenly you level up, and you're at the next level, and you hit those stages till you get to your objective.
Mm-hmm.
And so you work it backwards, either on paper in your head. I've gotten to the point now where I can do it in my head a lot, only because of so many times doing it for real.
Yeah.
And, you know, it could be, you know, think about our Katy Trail ride
Mm-hmm.
that we did. You know, in May we said, we're going to do the Katy Trail in September. And, well, that's 266 miles. In May, I could barely ride 2 miles.
Right.
So, all right, 266 miles in September, I'm going to camp. I got to carry out everything that I got to have. I got to put on my bike. So I took that and I took it backwards. I worked my way back to where I was today.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so, you know, doing that backwards planning, you know, the final stage before we did the trail ride was to actually do 50-mile runs with a fully packed bike.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was 30 and 40-mile runs with something on my bike, not
Right,
everything.
Right.
And you worked your way back to where you were, and you had those stages where you had those milestones you had to get to before you executed. And you know what? It worked. And that kind of planning you can apply to everything.
Yeah.
I mean, you're always going to have Murphy's Law. You're always going to have something happen as soon as you start.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like if you start working out, you get sick a weekend or whatever. But that doesn't. The objective's still there.
Right.
You just have to adjust fire to get to your objective.
Yeah, it might be a delay.
Yeah.
You know, just a little slight delay.
Yeah.
And no need to stress out. We're going to be back at it on Monday.
It's a pause.
Yeah.
Or you just had to bank right or bank left.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to get to your same thing. Go, oh, I thought I was going to do this, but really I found out that if I did these kinds of push-ups versus doing the dips, I'm still getting the same benefit.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Well, let's take the Katy Trail again. The actual Katy Trail is how long?
243.
243. We did 266. So we were planning for 243. But then we found out quickly, like, oh, we want to go to Jeff City. We want to go to Herman. We want to go up here and down here. So we kind of had to adjust on the fly.
Mm-hmm.
We found out there's couldn't get any food in one place, and we had
Hills.
to come up with that crazy dinner.
We didn't play in hills.
No, we didn't. I didn't think it was going to be that hilly.
I didn't either.
And we definitely didn't train hills. Emma. She's definitely in her 2-year-old stage.
Yeah, runs in the family.
I was an angel when I was an angel. So allowing for contingencies. Some contingencies you can plan, some you can't. So you need to be flexible, and you also need to not freak out when something pops up and you're like, oh my gosh, we gotta, it's raining. What are we gonna do? Like, this sucks. You could be all mopey about it, and
Well, that's the
just
point of
enjoy it.
planning.
Yeah.
The point of planning is if something like that was to happen, your mind is already there for it. You're already part of it.
We talked about rain before we went, and we decided, do I want to carry a raincoat because it might rain, or would I just enjoy the rain, just get wet?
And we
so
did.
We decided we'll just get wet. And then when it started raining, we're like, oh, this actually feels good.
It did.
I wrote down here that being prepared, having a plan, allows you to rationally think through things. So, like you said, that reverse planning. You have your goal, and that just eases everything for me. I'm like, oh, okay, I got a plan. The hardest part is being patient, following the process at that point.
Yeah.
And just know that, this is my goal. And sometimes we have setbacks. Like we had financially, we're like, hey, we got a emergency fund. Oh, our pipes broke. We got to spend our emergency fund. Rebuild our emergency fund. Oh, the HVAC went out. Rebuild our emergency fund. You need closing costs. So now we're like, all right, we're going to rebuild our emergency fund again.
Right.
And, that's what it's there for.
Mm-hmm.
and we're just going to keep going forward.
Well, and that's the danger of goals, because a goal is so nebulous.
Yeah.
And, you know, I kind of like, you know, we talk SMART goals, but, you know, I like the concept of the objective, you know, having a target, because a goal without action is just a wish.
Yeah.
And I'm
That's
not
right.
wishing nothing.
No.
When I set my goal, I'm really setting a target. I got to take action. If I'm not taking action, you know, then why even think about it?
Yeah, you're just spinning your wheels.
Right.
You're not doing anything, wasting energy.
And time ain't stopping for you.
No, for sure. Like
Matter
I
of fact,
said,
it's
time and
speeding up.
tide wait for no man.
Right. It is not stopping one bit.
Next thing you know, you're going to look up and be like, whoa, I didn't plan for retirement.
Not only that, if it's a family matter, even your family members
Yeah,
are keep moving on while you keep stewing about it.
for sure.
They're already way past you,
Yeah, for sure.
you know. And then when you finally decide to do something about it, like, oh, yeah, okay. Well, they're already past.
Yeah.
You know, they're waiting for you to catch up.
A lot of this is communication, right? And we talk about this with work a lot, is either, you know, no communication, poor communication, you know, people receiving the message a different way. Like, we could be in a meeting and boss says something, I hear something completely different than you did, and we need to talk about it.
Right, the classic telephone game.
Yeah.
Let's play telephone and whisper into each other's ear.
Right.
See what it sounds like at the end. There are sometimes I played that game where I think people screwed it up on purpose. Could tell. It's like, yeah, come on.
Take it seriously, guys. So communication is huge, man. It's between friends, between loved ones, work associates, whatever. If you're feeling a certain way about something, somebody else might be feeling the same thing, and you just got to say it. And they're like, "Oh, dude, I thought I was the only one." Okay, so we know there's an issue. Let's work it out. I wrote down here Ephesians 6:10-18. Put on the armor of God. You know, that's being prepared for the day, right? And however you want to interpret that.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty specific in the Bible, but you really should be prepared for your day. I got to go to work, so I have a routine that I follow, and moving to a new house totally messed with. I'm like searching for light switches. I don't know where I'm at in the morning.
I rang your doorbell 4 times.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The ring. We didn't charge the doorbell.
I had to text you.
Yeah. So we got to do that. Compartmentalization. I wrote that down. So if you compartmentalize your tasks, it helps you stay focused on what you can control. Help you stay focused on the objective. So there are things that I'm dealing with at work that I need to focus on work. I have all this stuff going on in my personal life. Selling a house, buying a house, baby on the way, Emma's birthday, you know, loving my wife, all this sort of stuff going on. Sometimes I need to just not look at my phone if it vibrates. Is it an emergency? No. I'm focused on this task. And then same as when I'm at home, I don't need to be stewing about work problems at home. Thankfully, my job is the way where I can be present at home.
Well, yeah, psychological history would always use the description that men are like dresser drawers, or like dressers. You open up one drawer, and that's what the man's working on, and then he closes that drawer and opens up another one, closes that drawer, opens up another one. Women are like a ball of yarn, and everything gets all tangled in together, and, you know, their brain is in 60 different directions all at one time.
Yeah. Super
but not going anywhere.
Multitaskers.
And, you know, I must have a weird brain, because I think I have a ball of yarn stretched through my dresser drawer, because that's kind of like how I think.
Yeah. I think I'll have like 15 different things on my mind that I bounce back and forth. It's probably like a song playing in my mind. Also, I'm thinking like, what was the name of that movie that I saw 15 years ago that I really liked?
But the point of action
issues.
is focus on that one item.
Yes. Yeah.
Right?
And knock it out. Just start chipping away. What's the best way to eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
Correct.
Just start knocking it out. And sometimes I'll get a little carried away with all the stuff swimming around in my mind, and I'll get anxious and stressed out, and I just have to stop. I'm like, dude, hold on a second. You're not carrying the weight of the world here. You're not holding up this planet. Just chill out for a second. Let's put everything in order. This is what I need to worry about now. get it done, and then move on to the next one.
Right. We all have our methods, and we should find everyone should be able to find their method. Is
Yeah.
it listening to certain kind of music?
Mm-hmm.
Because not all music will relax my brain.
Okay.
There are certain types of music I need to listen to based on the mood I'm in.
Yeah.
Or do I need to take a walk? Do I need to go punch a heavy bag for the next 20 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
You know, everyone needs to figure out what their method is to take whatever it is in their brain and to get that solidified and reduce that stress, or to focus that stress to fix the issue that's at hand.
Yeah.
You know, because stress can be a positive, right? Stress is positive and negative.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've talked a lot about negative stress, but there is positive stress.
For sure.
Because stress in a positive way forces you to focus or to take action in a specific task
Yeah.
to get it done.
Yeah, I kind of got addicted to that when I was in the fire service. And so I was like full-time firefighter, and then on my days off, I'd work on the ambulance part-time. And I was like addicted to helping and doing the action, the adrenaline, and actually being like the guy that people call when they need help. And man, it'll burn you out big time, because it turned into something else. The actions I was doing that I was like, wow, I feel great doing this, turned into I have to do it. And then it turned to, oh God, I can't believe I signed up for another shift on the ambulance.
Yeah.
I can't take this anymore.
I'm reading a book called Napoleon's Russian Campaign right now. And there's one period of time when they're on the retreat from Moscow back into Europe. And it's middle of winter. Actually, it's not middle of winter. It just started, but it's nasty.
Mm-hmm.
And you have one of the marshals who's in charge of cavalry, and he had 60,000 cavalrymen under him at the start. And at this point, he's got 1,800 left.
Oh my gosh.
And there's one arm of the Russian army who is blocking their way, and they have to get through it. Otherwise, they're going to be stuck. I mean, it's 80,000 guys on the other end. There's 1,400 of them. What are they going to do?
Right.
And, you know, some of these guys don't even have horses anymore.
Yeah, they probably ate them.
And, yeah, they did.
Yeah.
And they're all, you know, all on foot. And he's trying to get them all together, rally them. This one last push. We just got to get across this one stretch, you know, and he had to retreat, go back towards Russia.
Mm-hmm.
And they just didn't want to follow. And he goes, look, and they pick apart where there's like a little stream.
Mm-hmm.
And he proves to everybody, look, the water is flowing this way. That's where the Dnieper River is. And if we take this stream, we'll dodge the army and get to the Dnieper River before they can block us out. And they're willing to go back towards Russia and turn around and come back and retrace their steps in a different way. And those are, you know, that kind of leadership, you know, in that kind of stressful environment, you really know how to work with someone's mind at that point and really get them to focus. That's, to me, that is spot on. That's life and death right there.
Right.
Even the guys who are already willing to die,
Yeah.
they were willing to keep going with their lives because everybody around them says, yep, we know we can go here. The guy who's in charge of me believes it himself, and he's out here with us suffering. Let's go.
Yeah.
And they make it. You know, big deal. Marshall Ney. I think it was Marshall Ney.
Yeah. So, are you looking to be that type of leader in your own life or in your family's life, to where you're able to say, look, we're all in this together. I know the way. Follow me.
I don't know if it's ever anything that I've actually looked forward to. That's who I am.
Yeah.
I mean, I really do identify that way.
Yeah.
I tend to thrive under stress
Uh-huh.
in certain situations. That's when I'm at my best.
Yeah.
You know, in a mellow, you know, we're gonna do that. It drives people crazy. You know, like, why don't you do something about it? Well, you make the decision. I'll support you.
Yeah.
You know, and one way or the other. But in those driving instances, I will take the heat. I'll stand right up there, take the bullet. I don't care until we get there and get the success that we need.
Yeah.
And I've done that many times. I can document that.
Okay. How important is it to you to prioritize your relationship with your wife and family when it comes to what we've been talking about today?
Tough question, actually.
Yeah.
It really depends. For me, it depends on stages of life.
Okay.
You know, if all my children were 10 and under,
Mm-hmm.
my world would be completely different if something was going on, because I will be in a number one protection mode at that point.
Yeah. Right.
Even on the simplest things.
Sure.
You know, I remember a time we lost Jenna in the mall. You know, the whole,
Oh,
you know, I
dude.
got a big family, and we're all together. We're
Yeah.
in one little store,
Yeah, it's scary, man.
and just in 1 second, she's just gone. Like, what the? And, you know, and you're running everywhere, and
Mhm.
you're telling everybody what she looks like, and, you know, you get with the security immediately. And, you know, it was about 20 minutes, and, you know, someone found her, and she's already wandered halfway across the mall. I'm like, Jenna.
Yeah.
And she was, what, 4,
Mm-hmm.
5? You know, so that reunion was a big deal. But, you know, at that point, you can't sit still and just spin in circles.
Right.
You're locked in. What can you do? And you go after every single resource you can
Absolutely.
to be successful. Whereas when they get older, kind of like they are now, and where I'm at in this stage of our lives, you know, something goes on, going, well, figure it out.
Yeah.
I'll give you some advice. Are you asking me for advice?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not going to automatically jump in. You're like,
Yeah.
well, you know what? I raised you. You should at least know how to answer that question.
Yeah. I
And
guess
I'm available for you.
I'm more asking about when it comes to the compartmentalization. You know, the stresses that we deal with. Obviously, men have, you know, more
I
on our
don't talk
minds,
about
more.
them with my family.
Okay, but you don't let them get in between you guys though, right?
No.
There's a lot of guys that will like put a wall up, like I'm dealing with this and I'm
No.
alone and I'm, you know.
No, Gail and I are very particular. I mean, even outside our bedroom door, we have Velcro stoplight, red light, green light, yellow light.
Yeah.
And if we put the red light there, that means no one's knocking on that door. That all the kids know, leave us alone.
Okay.
Because we're having a discussion about something that we need some private time
Is it
about.
a discussion in quotes? Is that what you call it? Discussion?
No, it's a discussion. It's a discussion.
That's a good thing, and that's very healthy for your kids to have that boundary, for them to know like this is the line.
It is about boundaries.
Yeah.
You got to do that. You know, my kids are not my friends.
Right.
I love you, kids.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to talk to you about everything.
Right. Right.
You know, there's things that mom and dad are going to talk about, and I'm still not going to share with you. Just not going to do it.
Right.
You know, you're 30 years old. I'm not going to share it with you. It has any of your business.
Yeah, like there's a lot of things still to this day about my first marriage. I'm not talking to my sons about it. You know, with the way things went down and what happened, whatever. It's just not productive.
No.
And it's between me and their mother, and that's just the way it is. You know, with me and Caitlin, you know, we're not at that point yet with Emma. She's only 2, so she's kind of like the center of the world. Like I'm just like, don't fall down the stairs, don't burn yourself on the stove, don't stick that in the electrical outlet, and that kind of stuff. Protecting, and you know, we're kind of. But there's also, like, I'll tell my wife how my day was, but I don't bring a lot of the stress home with me.
I don't talk about everything from work with her. Why would I?
No, because my interaction with my wife is more important than what's going on at work. I want to enjoy our time together. We only have a certain amount of time. Time and tide wait for no man. Again, so we only have a certain amount of time at this age.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're gonna get older one day, and so I want to enjoy our life together.
But you know, prioritizing relationships is a challenge.
For sure.
And that was one of the things that Gail and I really had to work out early on in our relationship together, and we've grown and matured as we've gone through the years. And that the classic definition of prioritizing a relationship is, Matt, you invited me and Gail to come over to your house to watch a movie one night, share some wine,
Mm-hmm.
and just chill and have a good time. You planned that for 2 weeks from now on a Friday night. And we said yes. And the next day, we have my best friend calls me up and goes, "Hey, Kevin, I got this great opportunity for you and Gail to attend with us. We're going to go backstage at this concert,
Oh.
blah, blah, blah. And it's on Friday, 2 weeks from now. Can you make it?" What do? Well, Gail and I will stick to the original plan, which is to go see Matt and Caitlin and watch a movie. As much as that experience would be for us,
Yeah.
we, in our minds, would feel horrible about downgrading our relationship with you just to go spend time for this experience over here.
Okay.
And that is a big challenge. And it has been very successful for us over the years. And we have to remind our kids about that all the time. And I see it, with all my girls making plans all the time. And then suddenly one cancels a plan because someone's doing this all of a sudden.
Yeah.
I can see firsthand how hurt the other girls' feelings are. How much you let them down.
Yeah, how important is that as a dad when you make plans with your children and something pops up and you would even consider canceling the plans with your kids to go do something selfish?
Oh, I've considered many times.
But even considering it, you feel like a dirtbag.
Yeah, but you stick to the plan. If that's the plan that you made, you stick to it and you go enjoy yourselves. Yeah, you might miss out on something, but something else might happen.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why we're getting together. We just don't know what it is yet.
Yeah, there you go.
Or there may be a reason why we're not getting together with the other couple.
Sure.
Because something else might happen.
Yeah.
Or put us in an environment that we're not comfortable in.
Yeah.
You just don't know. So, but you take that all out of your brain. You got to learn how to not think all that.
Don't have that fear of missing out. Like you made plans and you were excited to make those original plans for a reason. So why would you throw that away?
Yeah, because all of a sudden it could be, we come over because we're going to watch a movie with you. And, an hour before you say, "Kevin, I just got word. My, so-and-so was able to give us tickets to something."
Yeah. Hey, we got those same tickets.
I'm like, we're in.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a great one.
So, I mean, to me, that's one of the best definitions of prioritizing relationships.
Yeah.
Don't prioritize. If you make a commitment, stick to the commitment.
Yeah.
And put everybody kind of on an equal footing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Something I promised myself as a young dad, even before I had children. And I had children I was 21 when my first son was born. But I always said, regardless of what I'm doing, I don't care what it is. I don't care how tired I am. I don't care what time it is. If my son or my children come to me and say, "Hey, Daddy, will you come do this with me?" I will stop what I'm doing and go do it.
Were you always like that?
Always. As a dad.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, that was one thing I was like, dude.
Fantastic. Because I can sing the song "Cats in the Cradle" all day long because I made those same mistakes with my kids as they were growing up.
Because that was my relationship with my dad. That's a pretty traumatic story. I don't know if I want to really get into it too much, but where I wanted to go play catch with my dad, and I'd pass like, "Let's go play catch. And eventually he's like, "All right, go in the backyard. I'll be out there in a minute." And I'd be out there waiting, throwing the ball to myself, and he'd never show up. And that happened a few times to where I stopped asking my dad to play catch with me. And I never, ever, ever wanted to do that to my kids. Now that I'm older, like Emma, she's like, "Read a book. You want to read to me? Come on." She's like, "Let's go play tea party. Let's go do this. And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I'm almost 50 years old, kid. I'm really tired."
Even my dog. I made the mistake of taking my dog on a walk 2 days in a row, and all of a sudden he just wants to walk every day.
He's like, "Yeah, man."
He keeps bumping his nose into my butt. And I'm going, "No, I got stuff to do."
Yeah. So, I have to revisit that pact I made from time to time of like, because I'll catch myself with Emma, 2 years old. I'm like, "No, just go play your blocks, and I just want to sit here." And then immediately I'm like, "Hey, you SOB, don't forget." So I'm like, "Okay, let's go play blocks. I'll read this book.
You have to, because you're practicing for the next one coming.
Yeah, I hope I have another girl. That's all I got to say. Because if I have a boy, it's going to kill me. I don't know how many wrestling matches I got left in me. I got to get back in shape. I got to get my treadmill put back together that the movers refused to move. I had to take it apart for them to move them. So
Oh, yeah.
I got to get my stuff back together. So what else you got, man? Stress and anxiety. Anxiety is different than stress, right? Stress is stress. It's just you're like, I got a lot to do. Here's how I'm going to do it. And you're kind of feel the crunch of time, whatever. Anxiety is worrying about stuff that you have no control over, stuff in the future.
Right.
Right. That like, oh my gosh, it's going to be winter and it's going to be cold or whatever,
I really have to check myself when someone in my family mentions anxiety.
Yeah.
Yep. Because I've gone way to the extreme on trying to get people to fight anxiety.
Yeah.
And it never is successful. And so I go to the other side and not say much. And then suddenly I don't care.
You don't care, right?
Like, no, I care. It's just my methods. You're asking me what you should do, and my methods are not coherent to you, and you get upset when I make the suggestion. So why make the suggestion? I don't want to add to your anxiety.
Right.
You're just making me anxious.
It is contagious, that's for sure.
Dude, completely off topic. I don't know if there's a relationship to it at all, but one of the things that I brought up with you this week was this thing that came across called fake living fatigue.
Yeah, that can cause anxiety for sure.
And I had to listen to it a little bit to kind of understand where they were going, and I understood it enough that we're in a dangerous world, and I'm not going to tell people to drop their phones. I keep trying to mention it and not be on social media so much and stop with the scrolling. Get out of it and get back into the real world. Look up instead of down.
Right.
Because everything around us is fake or contrived, or we question everything. Because is it AI?
Yeah, you have to.
Is it not? Is that real? And so there is nothing that is truth anymore. And that's kind of where the fakeness was coming out I really do. Well, it's by design. I mean, it's part of, the plan, that we lose trust in everything.
Yep.
So now in real life relationships, I don't trust you. Because of all this other stuff that I saw.
But somebody will come along eventually and say, I have the plan to fix this. You can trust me.
Right.
Trust me.
Right. I don't think I'll be here when that happens.
No.
I'm fully confident.
Yep.
But besides that, I mean, losing trust.
Fake living fatigue, is that what you said?
Fake living fatigue.
So that's where people have, with their online life is polar opposite from their actual real life.
Yeah, I mean, that was my initial thought process, and what I was getting out of what I was watching, and that people do their fancy stuff on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, whatever, shows how great their world is.
Yeah.
But the reality is, it's not so great, and we have social media influencers that commit suicide all the time.
Sure. Well, even on the other end, when somebody puts a problem they're having on social media, everybody's like, "Oh, quit whining, dude! What are you coming on here, bringing everybody down?"
You're really opening yourself up for a lot of derogatory.
It's so negative,
comments.
man. I think that's the best thing I ever did was delete Facebook.
Yeah,
and get off Facebook and Instagram. And
I mean, I was thinking about losing trust. You got fake news. Even the food we eat. The food we eat's fake.
Yeah, it's not. That's
why we think it's edible. Well, it is edible, but we don't know if it's real or not.
Just because it's marked good for consumption doesn't mean it's good for you.
Right. Fake friends.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I've gotten rid of all my fake friends. I mean, you figure them out real quick. And I've seen it over and over again with my daughters. They think they've got a good friend, and all of a sudden they betray them in some way, and then they're ruined, and then they're suffering from their anxiety again.
Yeah.
And you know, you got to really figure out who your friends are. Be cautious. You know, don't be quick to make close friends.
You should have a small circle of people that you call friends. Everybody else might be an acquaintance.
Yeah.
But your friends should be...
And really, that number shouldn't be any more than, I would say, 10 at the very most.
Well,
I'd say more like 6.
Yeah, 10's that's a lot for me.
Yes. 4 to 6, really.
Yeah, I think I'm at...
Is your inner
about
circle.
4.
Yeah, your inner circle. And then even money. I mean, money's fake now.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we think it's real, but it's fake because it's backed. You know, our dollars are backed with nothing.
What does it say? Backed by the full faith and whatever of the United States government.
Yeah.
Full faith and trust of the United States government, and which is 0.
Right. And then the penny is going away.
Yeah.
You know, apparently, I guess there's a new penny shortage with McDonald's all of a sudden because now they're putting out signs about how they round their prices because they didn't change the price. They're just rounding how they give you change.
Where did I get change the other day where I didn't get any pennies. They just rounded it up and gave me, I was like, I just made 3 cents on this transaction.
Well, they quit making them.
Yeah.
So they're going to start phasing them out here.
Oh, boy.
They'll start collecting them. They probably are. You know, fake news, fake food, fake friends, fake money, losing trust, because nothing's real. And, you know, it comes down to a lack of resources as well. You know, there's so much fakeness in the world, you don't even have a resource to go to. You know, we forgot how to read and do research. We look at ChatGPT to get an answer, right?
Well, dude.
So the resource is a book. But if you go to the library...
Are the books trustworthy?
Well, there's 2 sides to that.
Yeah.
So if you have the printed page, you can still document and, you know, cross-reference and look it up.
You can't change it. It's been printed on a piece of paper.
Right.
You can't go in and edit and gaslight people by saying that. It never said that.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you go to your local library between 2015 and now, the last 10 years, the library has changed significantly in that at one time the shelves would be packed with books, lined with books.
Yeah.
Many libraries, the one right down the road here, Spencer Hill, or the Spencer Branch Library.
Don't give away my location.
Is the shelves are half full.
Right.
Many of them are empty.
Because everything's audiobook or online.
Exactly. You can manipulate all that.
Kindle.
All day long. Or if someone decides to zap it, it's gone.
Yeah, that's right.
And so you don't even have a resource anymore.
Culture could be erased.
Right.
You know, different cultures. And
the so-called encyclopedia that nobody even knows about anymore. You know, or a dictionary. You know, I was thumbing through. I have a dictionary from 1950 at home. It's about I would describe it like a telephone book, but nobody knows what those are either.
It's as thick as a dictionary.
Yeah, it's thicker than normal.
Yeah.
The breadth of my hand is how thick it is. And I happened to look at it the other day because I'm going, it's a dictionary. No, it's not. It's got color art of animals of the world.
Oh, wow.
Flowers, birds, mushrooms. It has banking statistics.
Whoa.
How to do ledgers if you're operating your own business.
Dang. That's a valuable thing to have.
All these things are all back in there. Chemical equations on how to do lab work. The amount of information that's in there, other than just the definition of a word, is remarkable. And I consider that dictionary that I have right now a valuable asset.
Yeah. That dude, we're always on the lookout at thrift stores for books about carpentry, electrician work, engineering. Like, we're always first of all, the information is great to have on the shelf just in case. But they're like beautiful books. When you open and you're looking at the pages, like, dude, somebody really worked, put their life into this thing. And they're great to have on the shelf. They're good conversation pieces. They're, you know, if you need to know how to build a roof gable, it explains it in these books. How to do it properly, not how to do it quickly or with modern stuff, you know. Yeah, that's a great book to have, dude. we have all the classics. We found at we're in South Carolina. The library sells off old books, or they'll do a book sale. We found, you saw it on our bookshelf. It's basically all the great literature classics, and it's like an encyclopedia
Yes.
form. It's a ton of books, and I was like, man, we should get this, because one day, if the lights go out, we're gonna need some entertainment, and these books will always be entertaining, and they'll always have something in them.
But think about the danger. Why aren't there any books?
Yeah, because they can manipulate what you're hearing,
Yeah.
and I say
It's so true.
Like,
All you
yeah.
got to do is look at the events of this past weekend.
Oh yeah,
No kings, no kings, no kings, right? Well, we believed in no kings since 1775.
right.
So,
There's nothing new.
right.
Or we talked about the situation in Portland, and I was like, hold on a second. I called my buddy in Portland. He's like, dude, it's like 50 people. I don't know what the National Guard needs to come here for this. I don't understand. So it's both sides. You get it from both
Mhm.
sides, and they all have an agenda.
Mhm.
And that's one of those things, like, if you're anxious about what you're seeing on the news, you're anxious about make-believe. You might as well be anxious about The Wizard of Oz. It's not real. Get outside, quit looking at your phone, get in the real world, and
Right.
walk around and interact with people. You'll realize that we're all the same. We're all dealing with the same things. And I guarantee you won't hate that person if you see them face to face and you meet them and have a conversation. It's not that bad, man.
Right.
Like, I laugh a little bit when I hear people freaking out about Ukraine and Russia. Like, I bet there's people in Ukraine that aren't freaking out about it. I bet they're just going about their daily lives and living, and they're not freaking out.
Well, Ukraine is a big territory.
It's big, man. Like, maybe if you're a military-age man and you get snatched in a van and sent to the front lines, you'd probably be freaking out, or if that's your child. But
Yeah. Yeah, we really got to be more interested in the circle that's immediately around us.
yeah, for sure.
Really do.
Yeah, I talked about
That's where your world is.
in South Carolina, we had our friends. We call it the inner circle, but we had like a second layer of circle friends and a third layer and a fourth layer. And we looked at that like, we're going to worry about our families, our friends and families. And friends to me is a very specific word. And then outside that ring, we have acquaintances that is secondary. And then it goes out, the rings go out from there. And it would be like our little part of the county. And then it goes out further to our community. And we looked at it that way as well. So we were supporting each other. And if we're good to go, then we can move out to the second ring and go from there. It seems when you say it out loud, it's like, oh, you're in a weird commune or something like that. But no, it's just the way we just kind of conceptualized it. Like, hey, we're actually friends. We're really friends. Like, you can call me and I'll show up when you need me. And it actually happens sometimes where I'm like,
Sure.
call my buddy up. Hey, my son just got in an accident. I'm an hour away. I need you to go get, and boom. He stopped what he was doing to go help my buddy. He called me one time and said, hey, there's a creepy guy sitting outside of my house and my daughter's in there by herself. I need you to go. Cool, man. Strap up. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
You need those kind of friends in your life. And you have to prioritize those relationships. You have to, it's like me and my wife. We're one. There's nothing else more important than that relationship, than our children, than our friends. And then we just go out from there. But I like your idea, man. When you said, like, when you make a commitment to spend time with somebody, don't just throw them off like they don't mean anything, to go chase something else. That's a great way to look at that. I like that a lot. And thank you for sharing this bourbon. It's special. I could taste it.
Yes.
A lot of thought went into it, and it's really special. And I appreciate that. Thank you for.
Good.
coming
Glad you
over.
enjoyed it. Or are enjoying it.
I am. Yeah, I haven't finished my glass yet.
Which,
so.
is that your fourth one or something?
No, it's first. It's the only. That's the only one.
How do they know? It could be fake.
Yeah,
Either
whatever.
1 or 4.
Think whatever you want to think. Whatever, man. But maybe you should come on the show and join us. You can email us at showmemk@gmail.com, and you could come see how we do things. Join if you have a story to tell, interesting story to tell, or a perspective, or you disagree with something we've said.
Yeah. See the work behind the scenes.
See how the sausage is made. Such a complicated process. If you have a bourbon suggestion, we'll take that. Topic for a show, you can email us there. Be sure to check us out on Facebook. You're going to post pictures from your visit to the Maker's Mark Distillery?
I can, yeah.
For this show, we'll put that together.
That'll be on the Headspace and Tasting Podcast Facebook page.
Yep.
And you can like, comment, and share. We'd really like you to be a subscriber to us on our YouTube channel, the Headspace and Tasting Podcast, and Spotify, the Headspace and Tasting Podcast.
It's all the same. We appreciate it. Thank you so much for listening. And thank you to our number one fan. We appreciate your input.
We've been getting more than one comment lately.
Yeah, we did get another comment.
We got a couple.
We appreciate
Some
it.
guy named Dave.
Some guy named Dave. Always keeps popping up. Thank you very much, Dave. We appreciate it. We know you're listening. And that's it. I don't have anything else.
I don't.
Bye-bye.
Peace out.